This is Jackie, and I'm here with Ida Mae, day 2 of Bonnaroo, hanging tough in the sun, but it's not too bad today. It's definitely one of the nicer Bonnaroos weather-wise. We really can't complain.
Keep telling us.
Yes. Usually it's about 95, so about 15, 20 degrees warmer, so this is, we'll take this any day. Yes. You guys recently released your debut album, Chasing Lights. How is your title track representative of the album as a whole?
Well, we called it Chasing Lights because that song, it turned out we'd never expected it to come out that way. We tracked everything live, straight to tape, working with Ethan Johns, and that track with that drum machine just became something bigger than the sum of its parts as far as we were concerned. And the whole song is a sort of an unrequited love song, and the whole metaphor for chasing lights seemed to fit everything that we've gone through over the last couple of years. So.
Is there one more song on the album that you really hope fans hear that maybe you might not release as a single?
Oh yeah, Higher Than the Light is a wild card. That's exciting. We haven't worked out how to play that live yet either, so they'll have to listen to the record for that one.
And Rightfully Honestly is a song that we're really proud of. Yeah.
And you guys are a couple, so what are the benefits of being on the road and touring as a couple?
Cheaper hotel rooms.
Yes.
Very
economic.
hotel rooms.
It's great. It's really fun. It's all we've ever known, really. We've been touring together since we were 19, so we love it. People always ask us, like, there's going to be a big dramatic secret, but it's just great to be
familiarity.
Exactly. It's easy.
It's pretty easy.
Chilled out.
So is your songwriting more autobiographical or more thematical and global?
It's always a bit of everything. I think you try and write universally, because everyone is all the same, I think, wherever you come from, especially we've learned from touring. It doesn't matter what country, culture, people think and feel the same about most things. And I think for us it's those universal themes of, we wrote a lot of love songs, we got married, so we wrote a lot of love songs, and I guess there's a sort of Bonnie and Clyde theme that runs through the whole record as well. So yeah.
So as you write things that are more personal, do you find them to be cathartic or more difficult to perform?
Well, with all of it, moments of them are deeply personal, but you also sort of bury them in narrative and in metaphor, so things change. So maybe a moment of the song is really you, and then actually later on it turns into something else. So it's kind of playing them live is, I don't know, you go into a weird
it's hard to explain. You go into like a weird place, and it's not always like, you couldn't sing the song as emotionally as it was first written every time, otherwise you'd just be an emotional wreck and not a performer. So you go into performance mode and you do it like that.
Do you prefer to experiment when you play something live, or do you try to play it as true to the recording as possible?
We improvise constantly. Yeah, and most of the tours that we've just been on, we're playing as a duo, so I'll just make pretty much 10%, 15, 20% of the setup on the guitar as we're going along, pretty much. So no.
That's totally fine. And as you have new music out, what role does music streaming play?
What role does music streaming play? Well, it's great in the respect that you can get it anywhere, anytime, any place.
Yeah. It's not great for us being paid.
The payment of things.
But in terms of people finding our music, that's great that everyone can access it, and we can find a lot of music that we would have had to search long and hard 4 years ago. So
I grew up in England desperately trying to find old blues records from the 1920s. So I had to import them from Germany and from the States and here, and spent a lot of money doing that, and now they're all online.
How likely are you, would you be willing to release like a one-off single because of music streaming versus a cohesive album?
It was quite important for us to do a full record.
I think that's the saddest thing with the streaming side of things, is that the art and craft of creating a record, start to finish, again, that narrative that people buy into, and a body of work, it's a really important thing for an artist. And I think what streaming has done to some extent is break it up, so now people are just releasing single after single after single to try and top the algorithms, and the quality is getting worse and worse and worse. Personally, this is my view.
You have to search. There's lots of incredible musicians out there, but you just have to search a little deeper these days.
So we're not more likely to do a single.
Probably not going to hit you with singles.
For that.
You don't feel the pressure to do that. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Being that musical, digital music seems to be, kind of where we're headed or where we are right now. There are still some acts that release either a limited edition vinyl or a cassette. Is that something that you would ever consider doing, or just sort of focus it on the music?
Yeah, of course.
I like
Why not?
that. I like the record store day a lot. Releasing something special for records. I think that's really cool, and I'm sure we'll do something like that in live records and pieces that go alongside the record. I'm totally game for.
I like that idea. So what role does traditional terrestrial radio airplay have? Is it something that you think about, or is it something that's kind of a side note?
It's something we didn't think about, but we've been lucky in the States. We've had quite a lot of airplay on a couple of songs. But the whole point of our record was we didn't want to compromise on anything. We wrestled our way through several record companies to get to where we wanted to be, and we didn't want to write for anybody else's taste except our own. And thankfully, a bit like the album, if people want to listen to it, they have to buy into the record as a whole and lose themselves in it. So I think radio is still incredibly important, and I think good independent radio, especially in America, is amazing. Especially living in Nashville, some of the local stations are just fantastic. So.
Great stuff.
Very lucky in Nashville to listen to the radio. So you're here at Bonnaroo. How do you go about choosing your set list, and is it any different from a show that you would headline?
We always have a specific festival. You're always playing to a slightly different crowd at festival because lots of people don't know you, and you're competing with other stages as well. The noise.
Yeah, we can hear most of the other shows going on around us today.
So we tailored that. We're not going to do the super soft, intimate stuff at a festival because you just wouldn't hear it, I think.
Unfortunately, right? So what's up next for you guys after Bonnaroo?
We're
fly
flying
to
back
London.
to London tomorrow, and then we have a load of in-store, record store shows. Then we go out with Josh Ritter for a month across the UK, Ireland, Scotland, and one show in Germany, and then our album release in London.
Yeah, and then we're back over here in
we're back
August
here in
for some more
August.
touring. Yeah.
Well, stay tuned for much more from Ida Mae. This is Jackie. Thanks to In the Key of Change and Chorus FM.